it is normal to want to keep tabs on your kid and to make sure that they're safe, but we don't want to get in the way of our kids' natural, well, individuation, I guess is one term that I've heard used, where the kid actually develops a self apart from the parent and learns new skills. I think the safest child is really the one who can navigate the world on their own,
Yeah.
that can get from point A to point B without relying on a phone. A lot of things can happen to a phone. They could drop it in a puddle, it could break, it could get stolen. And if your kid doesn't actually know how to operate in the world
Yeah.
without that device, they could potentially be at greater risk. So I think that parents need to sort of recalibrate their conception of safety. They need to just, and the parent's job will actually become less stressful as a result. So the more life skills you give your child, the less you have to do for them. And that can be hard. You have to actually put in effort to train the child to, I do this with my own boys. It can be hard sometimes. We've had all kinds of snow days. I think we've had 22 snow days to date because we've had just the most brutal winter ever here in Ontario in Canada. But my oldest son was sitting around the house without much to do. And I realized, instead of me stressing out about what we were going to make for dinner, I should really just be passing off that duty to him. And so I gave him, a grocery list and a few recipes and sent him off to do the cooking that day and things like that. It involved relinquishing control on my part, but it was a valuable lesson for him. And since then, he's actually been doing a lot more cooking and my life has become less stressful as a result. So if we can sort of just transfer more independence onto the kids, more real life skills, our own stress load, I believe, will decrease.
Yeah, I've talked about this issue in different ways with different experts, and they all kind of agree it's anxiety for both, right? When we talk about surveillance parenting, like you feel like you're in control, but really it's actually more stressful keeping tabs, wondering where they are, tracking them, like all the effort of that. And then of course it's anxiety inducing for the kids too. You described like not being able to figure things out on their own, or, just kind of worried that they might make mistakes. Mistakes are part of childhood, right? And learning and everything else. So what I hear over and over again from experts is the anxiety works both ways, with this older parenting that we're talking about, this excessive time, the excessive monitoring, where we've lost this ability to just kind of leave kids to their own devices